Hey everyone, welcome to ISO 400. Since February of this year, I've been living in Istanbul, which is a city well worth visiting if you haven't already. But I'm originally from New York City, and I often find that I miss home. And one of the ways in which I, so to speak, revisit home is through photographs. And this week's guest, Sally Davies, takes photographs that are classically New York. She's been living in the East Village for the past 32 years, and her photographs are lovely to look at, even if you're not from New York. So we talk about all of that and more in this week's episode. So, as always, our music is provided by Yuki Futami, a New York-based jazz musician. Thanks so much, and hope you enjoy. Since getting connected on Facebook with you, and I've told you this a couple of times, that your photos of street scenes in New York, for me at least, inspire a deep homesickness. Just because your images are quintessentially New York, with the cars and the storefronts and everything. It's like a New York kind of stuck out of time. And I'm wondering when did you start taking these kind of photographs of these storefronts, these street scenes with these old cars?
Well, I've always taken photographs,
Mm-hmm.
like since I was a teenager. So
Right.
when I lost them all in a fire in the late 90s, and then I started again, and I started, trying to document this stuff. But I think it was probably around 2005 where I officially quit painting because I was a painter.
Right.
Yeah, and I just officially quit that, and I decided that I was going to really start photographing on purpose, this neighborhood. And every day I would go out and photograph something else.
Mm-hmm.
So 2005, so this is about 10 years ago.
Okay.
In the way you know it, what we're talking about.
Right.
That I've sort of gotten to be better known for now.
Right, and so you'd seemed you were doing painting and photography kind of simultaneously, since you've been doing photography since you were a kid, and you studied painting in college.
Well, taking photographs for me was a great thing in hindsight, because nobody gave a shit about my photographs. I didn't have to turn them in for a marking. I wasn't judged by them. I wasn't trying to. I didn't know anything about any photographers.
Sure.
I wasn't aspiring to be like this guy or that guy.
Mm-hmm.
It was just something that I just loved to do.
Right.
It was kind of this, neurotic little thing. And so I was painting, and I moved to New York as a painter. I finished my degree. I got a gallery. I showed in a million, galleries, and I did all that. And somewhere around, 1999, 2000, I had it. I just knew deeply that I was tired of painting. And I knew that I was going to stop, and I kind of set about to figure out how to get a show of my photographs.
Right.
Which I did.
Okay.
And I got a solo show, my first solo show at the gallery that was showing my paintings, which was Gracie Mansion Gallery in the East Village. And it sold out, much to my surprise and probably everybody else's.
Kudos.
Yeah.
A belated kudos, but kudos.
Yeah. I mean, it was nothing like what I'm shooting now.
Sure.
But whatever, later on that. But so for about 4 or 5 years after that, I just started really upping the ante on my photography, and still kind of painting because I was the painter and people were still buying my paintings. And then one day my life imploded. I lost my studio. I lost my boyfriend. I had to move back to, my apartment. I was just blah, blah, blah. And I just went, that's it. I'm done. I am officially done. I threw out the paintbrushes. I've never painted since.
Oh, wow.
And I just thought, until I figure out what I'm going to do, I'm just going to shoot every day on purpose all the time.
And so what were you painting, and did you find that your painting and your photography kind of informed each other?
No.
Okay. Not at all.
I mean, listen, everything informs everything about ourselves,
Sure.
right? Maybe when I'm dead, if I'm lucky, somebody will look at that and go, oh, you can see where she was, but, no. And, painting to me was, had a certain amount of success. I sold them, and they're in some museums and shit like that. But by the end, it was welcome to my neighborhood. In the end, it was so epic. It was like every painting was like the big top. Like.
Right.
Oh, I couldn't take it anymore. I'm not that smart. I couldn't think that much. It was like, does this work with what I just did? And my photography was just this great thing that nobody cared about. Nobody took any notice of. So I was free to just dive in there and have a ball, and just sort of do whatever I wanted. So, yeah, no, I guess that's a long-winded answer. I don't really think they were. And I think that's why. I didn't hate being a painter, but I loved photography.
And what was the switch like when you said no more painting and you took up photography full time? What was it like, sort of in the beginning, kind of getting into the swing of things?
No, there was no getting into the swing. It was just like, now I only have to do this, and how great is this?
Okay.
Yeah, it was just a relief. I mean, I can't even tell you. It was just like, oh my God, why didn't I do that? 20 years ago. Yeah. It's like a suit, that kind of fits, but if you have to go to the party a little too long, it doesn't really feel that good, and you can't really go home and take it off. It's kind of like that.
Yeah. And so up until you said that it was great because no one really knew, no one really cared about your photography. It was your own thing. So what was it like then, putting it out into the world and kind of exposing it essentially to other people and receiving feedback and all that other stuff?
I've been very fortunate in that when I started doing all this street stuff. Now, you have to keep in mind what I said before, that I was really ignorant of other really good street photographers.
Right.
Like it was a genre that I never knew anything about.
Sure.
And now I look back on that and I realize how great that was, because I wasn't trying to look like somebody else. I wasn't doing like, that's neat, I want to do that. I didn't know what I was doing. I just went out every day like I was going fishing, and I just shot stuff that, broke my heart a little bit, or that really meant something to me. And, my technique has gotten better. I mean, listen, I just went through my entire archive last month and trashed 1,000 photos. Oh, yeah. So we have to do that, and that's cool. But.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten better as I've, learned a little bit more, and I've looked at other people's work, and I know what not to do.
Sure.
But I think it was the social media thing that, I got on Facebook.
Right.
I was a late comer to that.
Sure.
And but this was for me. This is easy and fun. I just load shit up. And, everybody, they like it or they don't. For first few years, if I got 10 likes on something, I was a good day.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, I'm on something here. I got you really.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, when you're turning a corner, not to say that Facebook is the quintessential audience, but
oh, sure.
It's, it's something. I mean, listen, the gallery that I'm with found me there and offered me a show a few years ago. I've had 2 shows with them. And
is this the Mizell gallery or? Yeah,
Mizell gallery. They found me on there. Everybody has found me on there. Like, I can't even tell you. And I've met, I've met you. I've met so many other, the David Carrolls.
Right.
Everybody's on there. It's a real tight little community.
It is.
Yeah.
No, definitely. And I guess, formally or informally, expanding your photographic education, knowledge of other photographers, the greats and all that, and connecting with other photographers online, did you find that your photography or your approach changed in any substantial way?
Yeah, it got better.
Oh, good.
Oh yeah, it got a lot better because I would see other people doing kind of what I was doing, and I hated it. And I would go, that's got to go. I'm not doing that anymore. It sort of shit bites at your heels, on there if you're paying attention. And you could, you know, like I think any of us can wander out there and, you know, if you're smart and you know how to do something,
Sure,
you start
sure.
with an idea and you think, oh, aren't I great? And then you go online, you're like, ew, there could be 50 people doing that, not as good as me, but it's just horrible, or it's
Yeah,
boring, or it's, you know, so yeah, it's a good thing to have as a, you know,
definitely.
yeah.
Um,
And it's like I said, you know, I didn't come from that place where I was studying, you know, Winogrand and, you know, all those guys.
right.
And it's good because they're so amazing. I probably would have ended up doing just what they were doing. And there's so many people out there still doing that shit. If I see one more black and white photo with the guy's head cut off, shot from the hip, and his hand blurred, yeah, I'm going to be like, what? You know, stop. We don't need that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
You
David
know what I
I do. No, David had mentioned in his interview that he didn't go to the recent Wintergrand show because if he did,
I love that he said that. I watched that interview, and he's right, and I feel the same way. You have to be careful.
no, totally.
And the more you like the person, the more you have to be
Oh,
really careful.
right. Yeah. No, I get it.
You know, you see these people online, and listen, you know, don't get me wrong. I'm not judging anybody. It's a
Sure.
hard thing to do, and you know, God bless you, whatever. But it is funny, you know, like there's a guy on there that is a dado freak,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And everything he posts, it's more and more like dados, and it's like, no,
Yeah.
he can do that because he's him. He
Right.
invented his little genre, and that's where he gets his thing. So you need to stop doing that. But it's, I don't know. It's
No.
just.
I
And in the end, here's the bottom line to me is this. It doesn't really matter anyway because nobody's making 5 cents
mm,
from any of it.
right.
So, you know,
Yeah.
whatever that means.
So
Maybe Dato's
what's that?
making 5 cents. Maybe Dato's making 5 cents.
5 yen, who knows?
Yeah.
What so in sort of expanding, like what are some of the things you stopped doing? Like what are some of your biggest don'ts as far as photography goes?
Well, you know, I have to be very careful what I say here. I can only reveal so much of my mistakes.
Whatever you feel comfortable revealing.
Well, I think as I go, let me just say it like this: as I go forward,
Mm-hmm.
well, first of all, you know, I shoot black and white and I shoot color, but
Right,
I'm not
I've seen
well known for my black and white because I don't show it that much.
Right.
Because there are people who do it amazing,
Yes.
and I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I am. And I also have this weird thing where and I'm going to admit that even when I look at like, you know, a Winogrand and I think, oh, that's awesome. I wonder what it would look like in color. I just can't stop myself. It's just, I've never seen anything that I think wouldn't be better in color. So I have to stick with that and I keep doing my color. But I think as I go forward, I'm trying to not romanticize things as much. Not to say journalistically. I mean,
Sure.
I'm not a journalist photographer, but I can suss out a situation and have it be pretty darn romantic.
Sure.
You know, just kind of, oh, there's a Sally Davies photo. And I'm trying to stop doing Sally Davies photos as much. Been there, that, you know, yeah, like maybe desaturate a little bit.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Maybe, you know, maybe leave some fucking parked cars in there, you know? You know what I mean? Don't
Yeah.
drive around looking for the alternate side of the street parking. Yeah, so I don't even know what that means, but just, or where I'm going with that, but
Sure.
definitely, you know.
Yeah.
Plus, you know very well what's going on here in the East Village. I'm not a fool. I mean, I can see that I've pretty much done this now. Like,
you photograph the place substantially.
yeah, and it, even aside from that, just the message, you know, or the the energy of my portfolio on that is.
Sure.
We all know what it is. We know what's happening here. If I continue to only shoot those places, I'm making up some story going at a certain point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, you know, when I have to start, and this hasn't really happened yet, but I know it's going to happen. When I have to start searching for a place that looks like that, and there's 2 left in the East Village, and I'm going to be the last polar bear to take those photos, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know what that means, but I'm getting ready to move on is what I think I'm saying. I'm getting ready to go somewhere and shoot something else, see
how
what happens.
how close do you think you are to that?
Well, the only reason I'm still here and I haven't done it is I have a dog that's 18. I told you that.
You did.
And I can't really go anywhere without her or with her.
Mm.
So
Okay.
my feet are kind of nailed to the floor until she joins the other side.
Right.
And then, I'm starting to think of, I might go out to LA. I've never been to LA in my life.
Neither have I.
Really? Wow. You're the first person I've ever met besides my mom that's never been there. How
Small
do you
club.
like
Small
Really?
club, I guess.
Very small club. You
Yeah.
got any desire?
Oh no, totally. I have desire. I've just never had the opportunity, really.
That's the same for me too.
So,
So, maybe I'll go. I don't know. Maybe I'll go and hate it. I don't know what I would shoot there, but it's just something. I wanted to go to Detroit for a long time, but I think that boat has sailed.
mm,
I think the developers are moving in there already, and it would just be a repeat of what I've done here.
yeah,
You know.
yeah.
Yep.
So with your color work and your black and white work, how do you decide between the two? Like, is it you go out and say I'm going to shoot in color today, or I'm going to
I
shoot in
don't
black and
shoot
white?
film.
What's that?
I don't shoot film.
Oh, I know.
I am only digital, digital all the time. So you don't have to make that choice. You can go out and you shoot everything in color,
Mm-hmm.
and then you come home and you go, okay, I'm going to try this again.
Mm-hmm.
I just keep feeling I'm missing something here. So I'll take something that I think might translate, and I make it into black and white, and I file it, and then I pull it out, and I'm like, it's okay, but it's just not as good.
What do you think it is?
Oh, I think it's just me.
Mm.
I have kind of this is a stupid thing to say, but it's whatever. It never stopped me before. There's something about, now, please, if anyone's watching this, don't send me hate mail or anything, because I don't mean it like this. But sometimes I think there's a reverse psychology on the black and white, which is you take a sort of a so-so photo in color.
I think I know where you're going with this.
You do?
And you turn it in black and white,
Yeah.
and it's like, ooh.
Art photo.
Right.
And it's like you crank up the contrast,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're like, wow, this is all of a sudden like an art photo. And it's like, maybe this is something. So that's how I feel. Like, I feel like if it's not awesome, with the color,
Yeah.
don't just make it into a fucking black and white photo and think it's going to be good. Color is, so black and white people, say that color is a distraction. But I think it's more than that. I think it's there's something very real about it that, it has to work.
No,
right? I think
no, totally.
way is what I guess I'm saying.
Yeah.
It can't be harder than shooting black and white.
No, it's. I mean, color. I mean, I shoot a lot in black and white. That is to say, I shoot with a digital camera and convert to black and white
Well,
afterwards.
that's okay.
No, it totally is. And I understand when people say it can be a distraction, but I think with your photos, the color is so integral to the scenes you're photographing. I mean, New York is a colorful city. And from what I've seen of your work, the scenes with these storefronts and these cars and these different aspects, it's just it can't not be in color. You know what I mean?
Well, I
know you know what I
know
mean
exactly
about
what you
you
mean.
meaning that, right?
Yeah. Yep. So all of this will be interesting, if I ever get out of here alive. While I'm young enough to still carry my camera around and go somewhere else and see, see if I still feel that way.
Right. Well, you do have a small camera. You do work with a small
I do.
an RX100, and I think I read somewhere that you got an A7R for bigger format stuff.
I used to have a Canon 5D.
Ooh, that's big.
And in 2011, I really had a very serious back injury.
Ooh.
I lost my job and I couldn't barely get up for like about 8 months. And I had this kind of moment. It's like, okay, so you're either going to not be able to shoot
Right.
anything, or you're going to have to buy some cheap little piece of shit camera that it weighs nothing. That
Right.
because I have to walk my dog, so I have to go out at least 3 times a day, whether I
Right.
feel like it. And I got that RX 100,
Yeah.
and it really changed my whole life.
Mm.
It really did, in a really positive way. It was like, wow. It's 21 megapixels. You can do a nice size blow up on it, sharp as a bell,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody even knows I have it in my hand.
Okay, you're right.
I talk to like big camera girl with that great big stupid thing, and everybody gets all weird when you pull it out, and it's like, well, there's a bad picture now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Right. So I mean, you take your dog for a walk. Maybe you take. I mean, do you have like a? I don't know if regimen is the right word, but how many times a day are you going out to take photos?
well, I have two ways that I take photos.
Mm.
One, the first way is every second that I'm not in my apartment, I'm taking a picture. Like I
Okay.
never walk my dog, I never go to the laundromat, I never go anywhere ever without a camera.
Right.
And very rarely do I even go to the corner store and not get a picture that I bring home. Doesn't mean I keep it, but there's,
Sure.
Right? And then there's the other thing, which is I need to get out of here and I want to go to Chelsea or I want to go somewhere and I'm going to take my A7R, a little more of a commitment, and I'm going to come home with some, photos. So there's those two things. But most of the photos of the East Village that I've done well with, those are really like walking the dog around the block or
Hmm.
going to the grocery store on my bike, or because you're circling the townhouses, you know what I mean? Like you're in the area and you're just driving around. You see
Right.
everything like that.
Right. And as a dog owner, I've seen that you have a you have a substantial dog portrait portfolio. And I'm wondering when did that get started, and how have you sort of developed? Because dogs don't typically stay still, and I'm wondering how you've kind of worked out your photographer dog relationship to get the shot. I mean, the shots are great; they're expressive, and the dog seems still.
Those were all 5D.
Oh, those were all 5D. Okay.
Believe it or not, was before I even got Sonyized,
Mm-hmm.
and was before I was really really doing the street stuff. It was like 2000. That was like right around the end before I had really quit painting.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really know exactly what I was doing out there,
Sure.
but the dogs were out there and I was out there. And I thought, started this thing called the New York Daily Dog. And for 1 year, I know, I'm not kidding, for one
I
year,
believe you, yeah.
my commitment was, I'm a very disciplined person. Like I invent these structures for myself so I can,
Okay.
get shit done, right? So, but the thing was for 1 year, Monday to Friday, I took the weekends off, but I didn't really. But I made myself Monday to Friday. I would go out, and I had my 2 dogs, and I would take portraits of dogs on the street. I'd go to the park or go here or go there, and that's what I did. So I got a great collection of them.
I've seen.
And I don't really know how they. I have a little bit of a thing with the animals. They're. Although I got bit by a pit bull this morning.
Oh, whoa, boy.
Yeah, well, I pulled my hand out really fast and he just nipped my. I was talking to the guy, right?
Yeah.
The guy, I haven't seen the guy in like 3 years. He's got this giant white pit, kind of nutty looking too, like. And he's got the muzzle on that, like not a muzzle, but the leash around the dog's nose. And him and I are talking. Yeah, how's your wife? What are you doing? And this dog is just sitting there like a really good boy, just looking at me.
Yeah.
And I said, that's a new dog. And he goes, yeah, but he's a bit weird. I can't really take him to the park because he starts, with the other dogs. I'm like, okay. We keep talking. Out of the blue, this dog jumps up and bites me right through his thing around his nose. And
Jesus.
and then he yanked the dog at me. I said, your fucking pit bull just bit me. Really sorry about that. And I was like, okay, I gotta go now. So there was a little bit of that when I was doing all the dogs, but anyway.
Yeah.
So that was a really fun year. I always say, I still say this, that if I could make a living
Mm.
photographing animals, there'd be nobody happier on the planet than me.
I understand that, having photographed Istanbul's cats extensively. I get
I
it.
the photo you posted the other day with those cats on the street.
Yeah.
Man, it was a
Yeah.
rock and
They
roll.
were lining up for the local anchovy salesman. So
Oh, is that?
the guy in the far in the background who's like walking
Uh-huh.
away with a cart, he's an anchovy salesman. So they were all kind of waiting.
Oh, that smell. Does he give them anchovies?
No.
Oh,
The guy's got to make a buck.
I see. But they
Cat
just in
cats
case
don't pay. They're there just on the off chance he might.
something falls off the cart.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it was a beautiful photo anyway.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
No, to segue somewhat, you've got this other project that has been going on for 5 years now about a McDonald's Happy Meal.
Oh my
Uh,
God.
I've looked through the photos and they look remarkably the same as far as the condition of the food. So like what? So you went out, you bought this Happy Meal, you took it home. Like was the intent to like I'm gonna photograph this over a period of time? Like like how did that all?
I'll tell you the very short story.
Okay.
I have a friend who owns a chain of burger restaurants here.
Mm-hmm.
Very well-known chain, which I won't mention. Oh,
Sure.
PJ Clark's, right?
Uh-huh.
Do you know that restaurant?
I've heard the name. I don't get
Okay,
it.
so we were away one weekend, him and his wife and a bunch of us, and I was just sitting around. I was on my laptop, and I ran across this thing. Shit you find. I don't know what I was doing.
Sure.
About this woman who was a school teacher, and she had a 10-year-old Happy Meal, and she
Mhm.
still had it, and she was using it, in her class to show these kids that you shouldn't eat this stuff. So I'm like, oh my God, look at this lady. She's going to. My friend looked at me and he went, are you out of your mind?
Mhm.
You believe everything you see on the internet? That is ridiculous. He's a big Mr. Beef, right?
Sure.
So I, well, why would she say that?
Right.
Come on. I mean, I'm going to get up and invent a story about it's so stupid. So I said, what do you think would happen? And he said, I think you would buy it and it would just mold and rot like every other food. It's food.
Right.
I said, okay. So I got home that night and I walked over to McDonald's. It could have been anyone. It's just that there's a McDonald's close to me, and I bought a Happy
Sure.
Meal. I brought it home, and I took a picture of it. Ha ha ha! And I sent him the JPEG, right?
Yeah.
I said, okay, I am going to, we'll see what happens here. So every day I photographed the burger and fries, and I sent it to him. And sent it to him. So we got around day 20 or 30, and he's
Sure.
like, oh, stop it. I get it. You win. It's, whatever. And then by that point, I had kind of had this thing going. And I thought, I'm loving this. Who cares? So then around 6 months later, another friend of mine here who owns a website, a big, very busy website. They were kind of low on news one day, and she called me and she said, you still have that stupid burger sitting around? And I'm like, yeah, it's in my kitchen. She goes, how about sending me a couple of, the then and now, the first and the,
Right.
So I sent it to her, and it went totally viral.
Oh, I'm
in
sure.
the United States, okay?
Yeah, of course.
So that was in July or June or something like that. So it was about 3 months later, and now that had disappeared, and whatever. And I got a phone call from this guy at this news. You would know about these things. It's like a news agency, an international news agency.
Sure. Yeah.
Right, guys? They're in England.
Okay.
And you still have that burger thing. And I'm like, well, yeah. And he goes, well, I don't know if this will amount to anything, but do you want us to, put it up on the block? Maybe someone will buy it.
Sure.
Yeah, sure, go ahead. So he goes, send me a few photos. So I go to sleep. I get up in the morning. I don't know if you've ever experienced anything going viral, but it is like,
Not on that magnitude.
oh my God. And I am a peon nobody, right? I get up in the morning, I have like 5 emails, and I'm like, it's a big day. I'm like, I open my email, and like hundreds of emails fell in. Media requests.
Wow.
I know, it was like the Indian Times, the London Daily Mail, every newspaper, the African Times.
Oh my God.
Ridiculous. Bought the story.
That's crazy.
And so I had, so for 2 days, I had Jenny Moose from CNN over here. I had every single TV station. I
Oh,
had them camping out. No, I am not making this
I know.
up.
I believe you. I believe you.
Camping out on my sidewalk in front of my front door of my building on Fifth Street. You know, buzzing my buzzer. You have to let us in. We want to do the interview. I'm like, are you people out of your mind?
Jesus.
It was really crazy. It went on for about 2 or 3 weeks.
That's.
And I mean, I have the New York Times like featured it in their dining section with my dog sitting posing for a photo with the burger on a plate. It was just, the internet is a very nutty place. Somebody told me a couple of years after that, they sent me this little, thing from the net where they say what was the biggest thing on any given day.
Uh-huh.
And on that day, my burger was the most viewed thing on the internet.
Oh my God, that's nuts. Did you ever get a statement from corporate? Did McDonald's ever respond?
One in Toronto, one in Chicago, and one somewhere else in another country. The Canadian McDonald's rep was very nice. The Toronto Star did a full page in the real newspaper.
Whoa.
Yeah. So that McDonald's rep was like, we don't really know who this woman is or what the conditions are of her project. So we're just going to leave this alone. Someone in Chicago McDonald's got quite nasty and went public and said, this woman is just a crackpot, trying to do this negative shit. Who cares, whatever.
You still have...
Yeah, I still have it. It's in my kitchen. I photograph it now maybe every 2 months.
Okay. How's it doing?
Well, you could see from those photos, it looks exactly the same.
That's insane. I mean, do you just keep it out? Is it in like a glass box? Like what?
Yeah, it's on a pie plate, glass, like a pastry glass lid, because it was getting dusty. That's the only reason.
Okay.
And I thought, well, if I'm going to keep shooting this, I'm not going to be dusting off fries.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's true. That'd be a little strange. But,
yeah. But it's something, isn't it?
It
and
is.
You know what's really funny? If I find this guy, you should do an interview with him. All these great people sent me emails and contacted me with this, right?
Sure.
So one guy, he lives in the Midwest somewhere. He's just some guy, and he started doing this in the 80s. So he built in his garage, he's got a burger museum.
A burger museum?
Yeah, and he built these really beautiful, he was a carpenter, these elaborate step display things. Sure. And he's got, dozens and dozens. And then he got a little flag in every one that says, 1981, Des Moines, 64th Avenue, Burger King. So he's got them all,
sure. Plotted. Yeah.
Exactly the same. So I am actually not as interesting as a lot of the people out there that have devoted creative life to the documenting this artificial food.
The life of a burger. I don't even know if I should call it a burger. But anyway, you recently had an exhibition at the Mizell Gallery.
I did.
And how did that go? What was the show about?
Well, it was all New York at night.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the decision to go like that, and they were large. So that was a real learning curve for me. I mean, they were all 40 by 60 inch prints, and anyone who's ever done those is sitting here watching this, shaking their head, going, "God, that poor woman." Yeah, it's a whole technical thing that I've never really, I do my own small printing, 17 by 22, but that was a whole other thing.
So what did you take away from it? What was the learning curve? What was...
Well, it's just technical, boring crap. I am not a technocrat. I don't give a shit. It's like, just show me the picture, But just, pixels and, night shooting. I learned a lot about night shooting and, how to try and get denoising and not getting noisy, images, which, nothing you ever care about until that shit comes off the printer at 60 and $500 a print, and you're like, oh God, that's horrible.
500 a print.
Yeah, 400 or 500 a print. Those are big.
Those are big prints. That's true.
And I'm not doing them at home, so I'm paying a lab to do them. So it kind of, it's scary. And I mean, I made a couple of mistakes and I learned like that, like, okay, now I know how to process these on my computer and how to go way in and make sure that, and you don't see stuff on small prints. All of a
No,
sudden,
that's true.
guy's got a piece of speck on his beard, I'm standing in front of this house and you're going to see it on a 5-foot photo, right?
Yes, you are.
So I don't know that I would want to do that again. It was very stressful. But yeah, it's all good, I guess. You learn.
How long was the planning process for the show, and how long did the show run?
Shows are always a month. That's industry standard, pretty much. A month, 4 weeks. I think that they, threw me the bone in January, and I had the show in June.
Okay.
They wanted to do it a little earlier than that, and I kind of begged for a couple of extra months.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do you have, so you've done night photography, you've done day photography. Do you have a preferred hour for shooting, like in both? Like, do you have a preferred night hour? Do you have a preferred day hour?
I think I am like every other photographer. You learn quickly that the magic hour. You've got your hour at dusk and your hour at dawn. You know what I mean? When it's not really pitch black out yet, but the sun's down and everything's just glowing. And that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And after hours? I mean...
Well, listen, I just did this photo expo thing over at Javits.
Photo Plus, yeah.
I'd never done anything like that before. What a trip that was. It was really great.
Were you giving a talk, or what was
it? Yeah, I was on a panel, talking about shit. I don't know. They asked me, and I'm like, I don't... But there was a woman who was not on my panel, but was giving a panel on night photography. Jill Waterman, really great. She's got a book out, too. And she used some of my photos for her, her presentation. And she asked me that same question, and I, not being like a really educated or technical photographer, I just said, shooting at night in New York City is like shooting fish in a barrel. Like, you have to be brain dead to come in from a trip out there at night and not get something. It's magical, it's all, of course it's all lit up, and there's a bunch of people everywhere, and you don't even, everything's lit.
Yeah.
You just have to wander around and look for some interesting light, and there you go.
Yeah.
So.
No.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So I can get into that kind of groove, and then which I'm just sort of actually coming out of, and I went out yesterday. I went up to Times Square. I forced myself to take some pictures during the day. Like, Sal, you gotta, you could fall in that hole and never come out.
How did that go in Times Square?
I don't know. You could look at the pictures and tell me. I mean, I don't really give a shit about anything like that. It's like, so it's a good photo, but who cares? Isn't that the bottom line, really, of everything?
Yeah, I think so.
To me, it is. It's like, you could be the best photographer, and if I don't give a shit about what you're showing me, I don't give a shit about what you're showing me.
Yeah.
You could be a photographer, but if you're doing something neat, that I feel is really an emotional footprint in there, you can get better. You can get
totally
better, but you can't find a better heart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't become more interesting. Unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Do you think there's
I don't know how interesting Times Square is.
It's a riot. I mean, just I went.
It's to be interesting at the risk of sounding like that old broad.
No, I hear you.
The old days when it was creepy and dirty and kind of scary and pervy, and that was so great. No, that was when. And I wasn't really on my game back then.
Say it again?
I wasn't really on my photo game back then, and it was so freaking scary that I don't know if I'd want to walk around with my camera anyway. Sure. But that's what I dream of. That's what I wish. Now it's like a bunch of, I don't know.
Costume characters. It's weird.
Well, at least they're a little pervy. Not that I'm pro-pervy, but I mean, there's something, they're kind of no good in there. They're mixing it up a little bit.
You got the topless women hanging out.
I didn't see them yesterday.
Oh, no?
No. I looked. I couldn't find them anywhere. But the thing that's the most boring is that everyone is taking selfies.
Oh, here too.
Is it everywhere, right?
Like I was here a year ago in the summer, and they're like street salesmen, and they're usually hawking like packs of tissues or something. And I came back, and it's all these like middle-aged Turkish dudes, big bellies, big mustaches, and they're like selfie, selfie, and they're selling the selfie sticks. I'm serious. I'm
They
serious.
all had selfie sticks yesterday too.
They're walking like with 3 in each hand, trying to sell these things to tourists. People who live here aren't buying them.
Right. That's exactly what it was yesterday.
Oh my god!
And and also, I'm sure you've seen this, but there's that elevated like step thing that
the
goes
red
up.
steps.
Yeah. Okay, so now they have a reason what they say that is about, but I'm telling you what it's about. It's for selfies. They get up there and then they all turn around because they're raised. And
Oh
then
right, and they look. Yeah.
Bingo.
What's the official reason for that thing? I never.
No, I have no idea.
Who the hell knows?
I don't know, but it's become the selfie platform.
Oh, I think it might be the selfie capital of the United States.
Did anybody see this selfie thing coming? It's just such a strange phenomenon.
I have no idea what to make of it.
It's look, Mom, I'm here. Look, Mom, I'm here. I'm really here.
And it's not even for Mom.
I don't know what it is. I really don't know. It's for Facebook, I guess.
And it's just with the stick, it's an unnatural angle. It's like you're holding it out and it's up at this weird, and it doesn't, I've seen photos from those sticks.
Enough people have done this now that the things morph. It doesn't matter if it's an unnatural angle. No one looks at those and goes, "Ew, that's a selfie stick." It's its own genre now.
Oh my god!
That's fine. It's funny.
People make it work, I guess. So, do you think there's a book possibility with your East Village?
I hope so. I do. I really hope so. I've had a few people, kind of semi-pitch me, but here's the thing. I am a working artist. I have no plan B. Right. I don't have a job. Mm-hmm. I literally get by on selling my work if I can. And if I can't, I'm in the soup line. So for me to drop 15 or 20 grand or whatever it would be to do a vanity book on myself is not going to happen. Mm-hmm. It's just not going to happen. And then the other old-fashioned way, which is like a major publisher does a book on you, Tashin or one of those people.
Right.
Does that even happen anymore? I'm not famous enough for that yet.
Yeah, most publishers, it seems, are asking the photographers to put up the
exactly,
the cost.
and exactly that's true, and they want you to arrive with
cash in hand.
Your 50, and your 50,000 Instagram followers that you see. You've already got this built-in sales thing. So I don't know. If it's meant to be,
sure,
it will happen. I'm not in any hurry. I'm very busy, still working.
Yeah.
And, I'm glad I didn't get a book 10 years ago because my work wasn't that great 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. At least now. It wouldn't be something I would want to be looking at now and going, why did I do that book? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Yeah.
Something I ask photographers in the course of all these interviews, and it's tailored to the photographer's experience. If you could give one piece of advice to someone who's looking to get into street photography, what would that piece of advice be?
Only one?
2, if you need.
Well, the first one would be, do not under any circumstances quit your day job.
Okay.
No matter what they tell you or how important the person is that tells you you're good.
Right.
Because there is a lot of good people. Here's the thing. I promise I'm still on the track of the question. I said at the Javits thing last weekend to somebody that the photography business in general, not just, especially the street, but not just, it's kind of like the emperor has no clothes. If you know that saying. There's people making money in the photo business, B&H.
Sure.
people who charge you for lessons,
Sure.
people who take tours, and I'm not putting those people down that do that. If I
No,
could do it, I would too. I'm just not that smart. People who sell you equipment, people who do portfolio reviews, like all of these things make up a very thriving industry for them.
Right.
For me and for the people on my side, we have to pay for everything. Right. Every time I turn around, I'm getting 1,000 emails a day. Please enter our contest. It'll cost you $200 to submit. Yeah. No, it's like, leave me the fuck alone. I need my money. If you really want something from me, phone me up. And, the people who really are legit and, they do want to do something with you, they're not charging you.
Right.
Not to say there's anything wrong with paying to get in a contest.
Sure.
I entered one contest. I'm not going to say who it was.
Okay.
No, I can't. But it was the deal with this contest. This was fairly recently. It was like in the spring or something. And I never do this. And somebody said, "Oh, Sal, come on. It's like $50. So get over yourself. It's nothing. Let go of your thing." So I was okay. So the thing about this contest was the pitch was that even if you didn't win, we were going to give everybody a review.
Okay, I know the one you're talking about. I'm not going to say it, but go ahead.
I didn't win. You know why? I never win. I've never won in my life, and I never will. It's just I don't do the kind of work that those places are looking for. But anyway, I digress. So I enter the thing. I send them in a really good selection of work.
Sure.
Like, still, I'm like, this is fucking awesome.
Right.
So of course I don't win. So I get my slide review. And no, but this is good for the kid who I'm going to give advice to who wants to be a street photographer. This is where I'm going with this.
Okay.
I get my review. I think you have to send in 10 slides or 10 images. So they put the images in the order from best to worst.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I'm going through, and I'm like, okay, this is this person's opinion. The last two, which was they were like so unsavable to this person that they were just horrible. And they listed all the things that were wrong with them. That there was this, it wasn't that. They weren't intimate. They didn't connect the view. All this shit. They didn't connect the view.
Yeah.
Piece that they put at the very end was a piece that I had featured in the New York Times.
Oh,
that is a bestseller. And every time someone sees it, they pee their pants over it. I know better to think that doesn't even make it a great photo, but it just goes to show you that one ceiling is another man's floor.
Yeah.
And if you're not showing what that person prefers,
right.
So I don't know. So what's the moral of the story? I guess listen to people who you think are good.
Mm-hmm.
And have had an experience out there that are maybe a little ahead of you. But even then, that might not be your luck.
Right.
Or you might be luckier. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is true. Who knows?
And like David Carroll likes to say, if it's not fun, you're doing it wrong.
Right.
If you can't get out there every day and go, fuck, I love doing this shit. I don't give a shit what. I just love doing this.
Right,
if
right.
you don't feel like that, don't do it. There's not enough prize in it for you,
Yeah. All right. Well, fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for watching. This has been ISO 400. If you'd like to see more of Sally's work, you can go to her website, sallydaviesphoto.com, or you can find her on 500px at Sally Davies. And if you like what we do, please hit subscribe down below and share this with your friends. Thanks so much, and see you next time.